Hello and welcome to the online video production blog. Thank you for all the comments that I've received during the week. It's been fantastic. If you'd like to ask me any questions or if you'd like me to review a site or a video that you've created, please let me know on Cam the Cameraman on Twitter, or you can email me at cameron@stuartmedia.biz. This week we have had the launch of Bing's new video portal, and we'd like to thank Matt McGee from Search Engine Land for his little article there, drawing attention to the fact that Bing have relaunched video, or their video part of their site. Are we, as online video production people, are we going to get excited about this? What do we need to know about this? Let's have a bit of a look. Well, let's first have a look at the actual site, and of course the site has a big prominent display of the first video and some feature videos and those sorts of things, and that's good. Nice clean interface, really like that. It's going to make our videos stand out if we can manage to get them in that featured section, and that will be great. Let's just compare it to its major competitor, of course, which is YouTube, which is owned by Google, and let's just have a look. This is straight youtube.com, and obviously this is my login, so therefore there's some of my subscriptions and those sorts of things presented a little bit more strongly. Do we like that better than the Bing video? You make the decision. Should we be paying attention to it? Well, the reality is the research suggests that the amount of videos being served by Microsoft sites versus Google sites, as you can see there, it is absolutely minuscule. So should we worry about it? Is there anything to really be concerned about? Should we be paying attention to it? Well, we should keep a cursory eye look on it, but don't get too involved. Let's just have a look at how it looks. We've seen how it looks on my browser, on the desktop here, and it displays fantastically, as does YouTube. But let's have a look at an iPhone. Now, we use iPhones here at the office all the time, and they're fantastic, and the market share of them is growing exponentially. Also, also to include in those the iPod Touch, of course. It also has a certain amount of web traffic associated with it. But let's just have a look at how Bing looks like in the on an iPhone. I could hold up my iPhone and show you it there, but I've done a screen capture. That's the Bing video there. If I do a search for the term lighting, we get to here, and what we see is the first problem I can see with Bing, and Bing has ignored the iPhone. Doesn't mean that it doesn't play on other mobile platforms, and I'm certainly not, I'm sure it plays on the mobile 6 platform and the Windows mobile platform. I'm sure it plays very, very well there, but we are ignoring the iPhone. You ignore the iPhone at your peril, and we'll show you a little bit of data in a moment as to where that becomes problematic. Let's just compare YouTube. YouTube on the iPhone again, there we see it, and finally YouTube once we've searched for my video, and as you can see there's an ugly mug there, and I'm wearing the same t-shirt. That's a bit embarrassing. I can assure you there has been some time, and the shirt has been washed between now and then of course the video plays full screen on the iPhone, which you cannot get to do with Bing Video. So as video production people, should we pay attention to it? Well, I'd probably say yes if you have a fairly unsophisticated audience. Certainly you should be broadcasting to YouTube as well. When you look at those numbers, it just doesn't make sense to focus exclusively on Bing. But certainly the research that we have done internally with Bing in terms of SEO and search engine, as a search engine, the unsophisticated market tends to use the Bing search engine more so than the sophisticated market. In fact, Jim Stewart, and those of you who follow Jim Boot, who runs the company here, he says that the people who use Bing as their search engine are also the type of people who don't actually take their plastic off their couches, because they are just using the standard search interface that comes with their Windows application. But if you have a fairly unsophisticated market, it may pay to be on Bing as well, but certainly you should be on both. This doesn't make any sense to ignore that 39% versus 2%. The other thing is that the mobile device, and incidentally YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world by volume too, which is something worth considering. Looking at one of our major clients who has a significant amount of Australian-based traffic, it's interesting to see since the start of last year, so that's 2008, you can see that the amount of traffic that this site is getting at the resolution of 320 by 396, which was the highest trafficked small site that I could find, or screen resolution that I could find, you can see that that is growing significantly. So over 2 years, we've gone from very little traffic to a significant amount of traffic in 2 years, and that's just growing up and up and up. If we, same site, same company, and we'll see there that the total visits equals 653. If we then come over and have a look at the Safari iPhone combination, so in other words, people who are browsing on the iPhone only, what we can see is we can see a similar amount of traffic there, and of course it starts a little bit lower because this is an Australian site and we didn't have the iPhone at that point. But you can see that that market traffic is going, and this is a trend that we are seeing across all of our client sites. You can ignore Bing at your peril, or Bing, but you cannot just exclusively focus on the iPhone or the iPod market. Jay Stoochberry from Twitter, who contacted me on Twitter and said I could have a look at her site, or his or her site. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to do that for anyone who would like me to. Looking at her site, they're a video production company, asking me to have a look, and we could look at all the normal SEO things, but I wanted to focus on video in this instance and going to the video production area. And I would expect to see at this point some videos. Certainly on the showreel page, I would certainly expect to see some videos. Now, just a little aside, you'll notice that each of these pages are taking a while to load. Now, we're on broadband, of course, but you might want to look at that because Google is starting to pay a bit of attention to the speed at which the page loads, and this certainly have some quite long load times. What we see here, and in actual fact, I'm seeing some videos down here now, whereas earlier on, because of the slow load times, I actually wasn't seeing any of those videos, so that's interesting. But there is very much a focus on subscribing to a iTunes functionality. In fact, in their photography section, they also drive you to focusing on the on a podcast or something similar. You'll also see the slow load times there, which are something you really need to look at because, as I say, Google aren't saying that it's a major factor now, but they're indicating that it will be in time. But yeah, if you are going to have a video site, make sure the videos are available, and I would strongly suggest that you make them available on, if possible, on the file sharing sites such as YouTube, and embed those plays. You'll see that on camthecameraman.com. Embed them rather than putting up video files of your own. Reason being is it costs your own bandwidth, and also they can't be found by the second biggest search engine in the world, which is YouTube. So you do ignore them at your peril. You do need to make sure that when you are doing videos that you focus on both the Windows market and the Mac market. Now that can be a bit of an issue for video producers because video producers, we like our Macs, but we need to try and make sure we pay attention to the Windows clients, and vice versa too, incidentally. As I say, don't pay so much attention to the Mac market or the iPhone market that you ignore the other markets at your peril. And incidentally, that didn't play a video very well there. Now I don't know why that happened, but we need to talk about that in a future video. I suspect it's a codec issue. We will look at some more videos, and probably we'll talk about codecs next week if you're interested. If you've got any questions, contact me on camthecameraman at Twitter.